In this video, we will provide you the quick recap on the weekly immigration updates happened right from President Biden, Congress, Senate to every U.S. agency, such as USCIS, Department of State, DHS, embassies and more.
Visit our Swat&Vee channel with your questions to see how best we can help you out your process. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel.
Now, let's get into the bulletin and find out what is the latest happening around the U.S. immigration. Number 1. Industries stress that immigrants can ease U.S. labor shortage. This week, some of the hardest hit industries criticized the U.S. government for not passing meaningful immigration reform to help tackle the labor shortage. Experts have long argued that restrictive immigration policies have contributed to the U.S. labor shortage, and increasing the number of foreign-born workers would help fill millions of open positions. As of July 2022, there were 11.2 million job openings, but fewer than 6 million unemployed people to fill them. In the agricultural sector, farmers and farming advocates are pushing the Senate to pass the Farm Workforce Modernization Act, which would create a path to citizenship for foreign workers, grant legal status to undocumented laborers, and allow seasonal workers to legally remain in the country for longer. The hospice sector relies heavily on immigrant workers, but hospices say the complex U.S. immigration process is making it difficult to hire and retain enough workers. Meanwhile, the American trucking industry is short 80,000 truck drivers, a number that's expected to increase to 160,000 by 2030. Foreign workers could be the answer to fill the gap. Canada has a similar problem, and plans to launch a visa program specifically aimed at foreign truck drivers, a model America could follow. Or it could look to Australia. To ease its labor shortage, the Australian government announced last week it would increase its intake of permanent residents to 195,000, up by 35,000. Unless the US makes more work visas available, the worker shortage could double over the next decade. To learn more about how immigration impacts the US economy, read our article on how immigration could help lower inflation, and our report on immigrant income, spending power, and taxation. Number 2. DHS unveils final public charge rule. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, released its final version of the public charge rule, part ongoing efforts to dismantle a Trump-era policy that immigrant and civil rights advocates widely decried as a discriminatory wealth test for green card and visa applicants. The final rule formalizes long-standing guidance within DHS that immigration officers use to decide whether an applicant is likely at any time to become a public charge. That guidance, which has been in place since 1999, defined a public charge as someone who is primarily dependent on the government for subsistence, which was evidenced by either the use of public cash assistance to supplement the applicant's income, or institutionalization of the applicant for long-term care at government expense. The rule is scheduled to take effect on December 23, 2022. Number 3. October Visa Bulletin. October retrogresses for some Indian applicants. The U.S. Department of State released the Visa Bulletin for October 2022. While other countries saw no change, India EB2 and EB5 categories saw a regression of about 2 years and 10 months. Though DHS managed to issue all available employment-based green cards for fiscal year 2022, which ends on September 30, the government estimates that it failed to use about 60,000 family-based green cards. Those family-based green cards are lost, and instead will be added to the employment-based category beginning October 1, the first day of FY 2023. Number 4. Biden administration ends humanitarian parole for Afghan refugees. Beginning October 1, 2022, Afghan nationals will no longer be able to enter the U.S. using the humanitarian parole process, marking a significant change in the U.S. government's approach to resettlement of Afghan evacuees following the collapse of the Afghan government and takeover by the Taliban in August 2021. Prior to this change, Afghan evacuees were typically admitted to the U.S. through a process known as parole. Of the approximately 86,000 Afghans who have been resettled in the U.S. since August 2021, roughly 90% were admitted via parole. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, clarified that the shift away from the use of parole will not impact applications that have already been filed. The government's main focus in the future will be to resettle 3 groups of Afghan evacuees, who qualify for permanent residence under specific immigration programs, immediate relatives of U.S. citizens, residents and Afghans already in the U.S., special immigrant visa holders, and the most vulnerable refugee applicants. Number 5. Texas governor buses migrants to NYC, intensifying political feud. Texas Governor Greg Abbott started busing migrants from the southern border to New York City late last week, intensifying the political showdown with New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Abbott, a Republican, has bused thousands of asylum seekers to East Coast cities since April in protest of President Biden's border policies. He and Adams have engaged in a public battle over social media in recent weeks. Adams has called the policy a political stunt and accused Abbott of using innocent people as political pawns to manufacture a crisis. "This is horrific when you think about what the governor is doing," Adams said Sunday while greeting migrants at the Port Authority bus terminal. Adams says the city's homeless shelters are overwhelmed with asylum seekers and are at full capacity. City officials say there is currently a 1% vacancy rate at shelters and plans are underway to make 11 emergency hotel rooms available. Adams has called for federal assistance to help New York City cope with the influx of migrants. New York City officials say despite the challenges, they will welcome the migrants to the city. Governor Greg Abbott is continuing to play with the lives of human beings. "We think this is cruel, it's disgusting and it's pure cowardice," said Manuel Castro, Commissioner of the Office of Immigrant Affairs.
I hope you guys found this video extremely helpful. If you know anybody that could benefit from this information, definitely make sure to share this video with them. We are all about empowering you with knowledge. So the more people that can benefit from this video, the more people we want watching this video. If you like this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs icon. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and hit on the notification bell for more immigration updates. Bye!